about, is said to generate about 20 tons of waste daily. Of that 20 tons of waste, I think about 70% of it comes from the industries. So how do they go about it?
There's a policy by NESRA, the Extended Producer Responsibility Policy, which is behind the circular economy, and I believe that all industries in Lagos State should key into this policy.
But
and
has the government keyed into it? NESRA is a federal government institution.
Yes,
so
all industries in Lagos State have to key into it, because the aim is to encourage recycling and reduce waste generation from the industries. So industries have to take responsibility of their products right from the stage of manufacturing and even the disposal stage. So I believe strongly that it has to do with enforcement, monitoring. Enforcement and monitoring. Okay,
Professor Brando, that policy, that NESRA policy, there are those who believe that the state would might first of all have to domesticate it, as in adopt it, and then get its institutions to begin to enforce it. We're still coming back to the management of the waste, but let's look at policy.
Yes.
Is there a way that can be handled real quick?
Yeah, very well. What Dr. Duarte talked about, the issue of EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, is a global concept, and it's supposed to make industries responsible for the waste they generate. It's like the polluter pays principle. So the money government will have used in collecting waste and so on, let the generators pay for it. And I'm happy to say it's a noble, a noble initiative by NESRA, and happily, industry is already responding positively. For example, the food and beverage industry have formed an association whereby they want to handle all the food packaging and bottles, plastic bottles, and this and that. So they are ready to take responsibility. Also, there's another group, issue of used lead acid batteries, because lead is very toxic, and our people are just using crude method of recycling them and poisoning themselves. They are also forming a group so that there will be a coordinated approach, and the industries who originally manufactured or marketed them pay for it. There's also another one for electronic waste. But as you say, the industries are in the state. So to me, really, it's going to help the waste management initiative of Lagos State government, because most of the industries are here. So, and they have all even registered their associations. So the issue now is to kickstart this. One more important thing which she raised is awareness. We need attitudinal change in our people. People believe waste management is a government right. No. If you produce waste, you must pay for it. So issue of awareness raising is very key, and then advocacy on a constant level. And then let people know that the world is changing. Waste is now seen as a secondary resource. So what you think is waste is a valuable resource to another person. So what we are saying, United Nations Environment Program has already alerted the world. Some of these resources, which we turn into, are dwindling very fast.
I do a program in South Africa that looks at how people manage their waste. They collect and turn them into awesome things. And
recycling and all that.
We were in Ghana some months back, and we're talking to an individual who turns plastic waste to cobblestones. So he uses it to build roads. He used it in his, he built someone's house and they used it, and the man was very happy. But now, when you say attitudinal change, he mentioned we need to change the attitude of the people towards waste. What way would you suggest we use in reorientating the people?
Straightforward. Now, water is very essential to life. If a child is born today, the first thing you give it is water before you talk about the mothers. And that when they know that water, unclean water, will cause serious health problem for them, issue of all these waterborne diseases and this and that. and they cannot survive, water should be the cheapest. Even right now, what you call pure water, I call them poor water, because I'm a publican. Many of them are not pure. So Nigerians say, I have this problem, I have this water-related diseases. And the World Bank warned us in 1990, during the days of Federal Environmental Protection Agency, that the life of 60% of Nigerians are at risk from waterborne diseases. So because everything we throw is land, it ends us in the water. So now you buy bottled water. When I was a child growing up in Ijebu, we drank river water. Didn't do anything. If I take a glass of river water, I will end up in hospital because most of the rivers in our urban centers are highly polluted. People just dump refuse, all sorts of things out of it. So we need to know that water is sacred. And the UN has also warned, by year 2030, we may have to be treating wastewater before we drink, because clean water is limited. It's a small fraction. Therefore, we cannot just be throwing away, the throwaway culture. And why do people throw waste? Because they don't see the economic value. That's where the awareness will start. Let the person see that this waste you want to throw away, somebody else can buy it for this. If we start throwing it away, in my house, we have a drum in front of there. You see people coming to ask for our waste newspapers. I'm an environmental consultant. I know a company that recycles all the waste paper into toilet roll, serviette. They even import waste paper. So I smile when I see it. I give them happily because it's a living for them. They are going to sell. So when people see the economic value of what is usually thrown away, my job, they will not even throw it away.
But then the people who do this recycling, staying with you, Dr. Doherty, the people who recycle some of these products, are they that many in the country? I do know that some just collect the plastics, for instance, and just break it down and then look for who will buy. But are there many who actually recycle? And then are there no other side effects in recycling? Because some do crude recycling at the back of their houses. Are there no side effects to some of this?
We don't have so many companies in Nigeria doing recycling.
Actual recycling?
Yes, because that is because people see it as a dirty job. But I believe that we can solve that problem by sorting first. Again, going to awareness, the issue of awareness. We need to enlighten people that from the point of generation, you need to sort your paper waste, your plastic waste, your metal waste, the biodegradable waste have to be placed separately. And if you have that at the point of generation, it will be easier for people to just pick up. For those who are into plastic recycling, they just pick up, go to industries, just pick up the plastic waste, and it's easy for them. Instead of just mixing up everything and dumping it in a dump site, and where you have some of these toxic chemicals that Prof has mentioned, lead, phthalates, all these chemicals, which eventually leach into the groundwater, and it will affect the people living in that environment. So I believe the area of sorting should be looked at seriously in Lagos State. It should encourage all organizations. Most of the waste that will come from the restaurants are going to be biodegradable waste, organic waste, which is also useful. Composting, fertilizers, which is also very, very, very useful. So if that is done, even at the restaurant, it will also create job opportunities for the unemployed youth. There are a lot of business opportunities in waste. And we need to open the eyes of people to see this. And if people see this, dumping the waste indiscriminately will be reduced.
All right. We'll just take a moment and go on a quick break. We'll come back to continue the conversation. Please don't go away.